The next thing is the carbon-60 mineral antioxidant. This is my favorite. From a scientific standpoint, it is just so incredible and unique. It's referred to by the scientists as the magic carbon molecule. So let's take a talk for a minute about carbon. We are carbon-based. Our planet is carbon-based. You've heard from our church, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. What does that mean? If we look at a person that has been cremated, there's a couple pounds of carbon. So that human, that's all that's left is the carbon, the things that are in the M.O.R.E product. Where do we get that from? We get our minerals from our foods. It's the only way things are getting into the body. Nobody's injecting dirt. So where in our foods does it come from? Well, these plants that we eat in our vegetable processes will suck up some minerals and give us a mineral baseline. Is the baseline enough to be curative in our diet? That's a nutritional deficiency if it's not. This product is designed to support that nutritional deficiency, to increase the baseline of these minerals. We're all peeling our potatoes, our baked potatoes. But if we left that skin on there, all of those minerals are loaded on the baked potato, on the carrot, on the beet, on the rooted vegetables, on the greens and cruciferous vegetables. We're cleaning it off. We're removing it in the process. We limit our access. Plus, with over-farming, we've demineralized our source, our farms, our sources, and so our farms don't have the ability to supply over 80 key metabolic catalysts, these over 80 mineral nutrients that are designed to replenish, nourish, and supplement our diet. So we have to get it from alternative sources. This carbon-60 molecule is said by scientists to be the most amazing chemistry discovery in the late 20th century. If you want to ever look it up, it's really fun. You can do carbon-60. It's also called a buckyball. It comes from the word Buckminster fullerene. It's also called fullerene. Carbon-60 is a carbon molecule with exactly 60 carbon atoms. It's like a carbon cage. Technically, it's a tunicated isohedron, icosahedron. So it's just this really cool ball, like a cage. The nice thing is that molecule can dome off these electrons to be an antioxidant, can supply electrons to areas of the body that are deficient, and it can also take positively charged or oppositely charged toxins that are in our body and magnetically suck them into these cages to be removed. It was discovered only in 1985 by three gentlemen, and really some neat scientific research. So because of the molecular size, it passes the blood-brain barrier. Now we have a content that can get into the brain and help detoxify the brain. And everybody knows about heavy metal contamination and the potential issues it can cause in brain saturation. It protects the cells from oxidative stress. That's the aging process, like rusting. Several studies provide that carbon-60 helps prevent mitochondrial dysfunction. That's the energy powerhouse inside the cell. Inside the cell, we have ATP and the mitochondrial. This is the thing that utilizes protein, converts sugars to energy, and makes our cells stay alive. So if we can prevent a dysfunction there, we keep our little cellular factories alive, and that's going to promote longevity. So it's a real key nutrient. Nobody else in nutrition and in direct selling has this in this form and has included this in this delivery system. This is very unique. This is a Valentis exclusive relationship with us. You know, they did double-blind placebo studies in universities. When they did these studies, I'm going to try and make this quick, but when they did these studies, the government wanted the people who were using this carbon-60 molecule to track radiation, so they were able to put radiation into a human being, but they didn't know where it went. So they discovered that this buckyball, this carbon-60 molecule, would attach to radiation. And therefore, I could see this carbon with my X-ray machines, and I could see exactly where the radiation went in the patient. I could also see the radiation going out of the patient because the carbon-60 molecule became a taxi cab to get those radioactive particles not only into a location but out of the location. So that's a neat story as radiation exposure potential exists. But the government said before you can start using this mineral, you have to do a double-blind study. An LD50, what's the lethal dose to kill 50% of the rats? You just keep dosing and dosing until they die. You can find out, can I take a milligram? Can I take 500 milligrams? Can I take a gram? You got to figure that out and see how it's toxic. The neat thing about multiple university studies, not only did the rats not die, did they not die from toxicity of the mineral, they did not die of susceptible disease states that they are genetically engineered to achieve. Not only did that happen, they had a problem, and the study cost them a lot more money because the rats lived twice as long. So you look up carbon-60, you'll see that really expanded life expectancy due to its antioxidant potential and its detoxification potential. Really, really cool ingredient. So the whole M.O.R.E detox, including the carbon-60, this helps to prevent nerve cell death, which is cognitive decline in the brain, and neurodegenerative symptoms that are associated with these dying nerves, these synaptic nerves that make everything happen, our motor movement, our mood, our cognitive functions. So we want to help prevent that through an oxidative or antioxidant reaction. It supports the control of inflammation and potentially arthritic conditions. Remember, arthritis is a disease. We're not talking about curing or mitigating a disease, but if an inflammatory control support mechanism through antioxidant and mineral therapy it can be administered, it can promote the body's natural ability to get inflammation regularity under control. Helps to prevent ultraviolet damage from the sun. All of us know if we get too much unfiltered UV rays, we can have a deleterious effect to our tissues, and it works with inside the body. Studies have shown that it kills viruses and bacteria. This is specifically on the carbon-60 molecule. Supports healthy metabolism and prevents cells from turning into fat cells. That alone is fun enough, because I don't want to take all the foods that I eat and constantly turn them into fat cells if I'm not using them for energy. It's a super antioxidant. It is 172 times stronger in the antioxidant value than vitamin C when it binds with the hydrogen molecules. So now we're talking about hydrogen. You've heard of pH. pH means potential hydrogen within the body. It's a numeric scale that we use to specify the acidity or alkalinity of a solution. And our blood needs to be basic. So you got 0, which is really, really acid, 14, really, really alkaline. The middle is 7. The body is slightly neutral, or about 7.34. We want to promote the body's ability to stay there. It already stays there by design, but it has to have tools to do it. You can't drink alkaline water and force it. You need alkaline-forming nutrients to empower the tool to balance itself, to empower the cells, right? So a high acidity level can have a negative effect on all systems in the body, particularly digestive, intestinal, circulatory, respiratory, and immune systems, because your body's going to buffer or pull these minerals from essential organs to try and balance itself. Because if I'm not taking extra minerals and I'm not getting it on my baked potatoes, where am I going to get it? The body's going to steal it. Bones, tissues, organs, hair, skin, teeth. It's going to steal those to balance pH so it can stay close to neutral, right? That's 7 to 7.34. I don't want the body stealing it from all those areas, because that's going to mean decline in those areas. pH, what's going to make your pH change? Why do I got to fix it in the first place? So stress. When we have stress, and stress is multiple categories: dietary stress, emotional stress, chemical exposure, other dysfunctions that happen in our environment, many types of stresses. This increases the production of acidic toxins in the body. Dietary imbalances, the lack of fruits, vegetables, and the fact that we eat refined foods that have been stripped of their nutrients, and too much saturated fats in meat, soft drinks, medications. These are dietary imbalances that causes an acidic lifestyle. Poor elimination of toxins. When our kidneys, our liver, our colon, our lungs, and skin that usually help eliminate waste matter from the body, when that becomes deficient and not effective, we're going to elevate our acidic potential. We're going to lose our pH balance potential, and if we don't supplement, our body's going to go back to breaking down teeth, bone, and skins. Insufficient oxygenation. We're not breathing deep. We don't have cardiovascular activity. We're not taking nutrients that increase the amount of water in our body, H2O. O is oxygen. The more proper water with proper electrolytes that contain those oxygen molecules that get into our bloodstream is another form of oxygen in addition to breathing. And when we have insufficient oxygen, we're not breathing deep, we're not exercising, we're not cardio in our lifestyle, we are starving ourselves, causing an acidic reaction. And then an imbalanced intestinal pH, nothing but acid-forming foods, sodas, pizza sauces, and all that stuff. So what are the kind of symptoms that you're going to feel? Brittle bones, muscle atrophy, fatigue, bad breath, poor digestion, imbalanced gut purification, dark urine with a strong odor, muscle pain, joint pain, skin problems, excessive perspiration, cramps, fungal infections, migraines, low metabolism. These are the things that happen when we're stressed, when we're in an acidic environment. You take these drops, you put them in a glass of water, and most of these spring bottled waters that you could buy, or even your home filtered water, you're going to be in that 6.5 pH range when you take the water to start. And depending on the strength of the pH of that water, you put some more drop into that. You put 2 dropperfuls into that water. That pH is going to jump from 8 in the area of 8.5 to 10.5, depending on the water you start with. So it's really high alkaline, but it's not so much that the water itself that you're drinking is alkaline. It's alkaline because it has alkaline-forming nutrients. So those nutrients are going to stay there. If I just drink alkaline water where some electrical devices charged the hydrogen ions and made it a high pH, as soon as that water with no minerals hits my gut's going to produce stomach acid. And now that alkaline water I just drank is going to be acidified by the gut, and the whole pH alkaline water story is gone because the little duodenum, the little valve in the bottom of my stomach, isn't going to even open until it gets down to an acidic pH. Now the body can do that to more water to lower that acidity, the pH, to allow it to get into the gut. But in the gut then is all these pH activating support minerals. Big difference delivered to where you need it. So it's vegan. It's gluten-free. There are no artificial colors, no artificial flavors, no sweeteners. It is tasteless. It is odorless. I wouldn't recommend getting these drops. You can have fun and put them on your fingers just to see how much it absorbs into your skin, and you can see the stain that it makes, and it'll wash off. And you might have to use Dawn dishwashing liquid, but it's a fun thing to do just to watch how saturated it gets, how it gets beyond the oils and the fats. It gets into your fingers, which means you also don't want to spill it on your clothing, and you want to be careful. So you shake the bottle very well, 2 dropperfuls, and a dropperful is about half. You can look at the little, sometimes they have meters on them, a little bit more than half of a dropper. The actual dropper itself is 1 ml, is considered a dropperful. There's a little confusion around there. So theoretically, if you have a half a dropper, that's 1 ml. 2 of those half droppers into your water is your daily supply. Shake every time you use it. You never consume it directly, undiluted, from the bottle. This is a concentrate. You don't want to stain your tongue or your teeth or any of that, but you don't want to have that much alkalinity because it's really alkaline in the body. Dilute it with the water. Put it in your teas. You can put it in your cooking process. You can use it anywhere you use water. And then you should refrigerate it after opening because it's multi-serve. We have to say that legally. I keep mine with me all the time. And so basically, I know you guys drank from a fire hose today, and it was a lot of information. But now in summary, more mineralization, oxygenation, rejuvenation, electrolytes, and detox. It's the reason you would take this product, and what's in it for you is more important than what's in it. But I really appreciate being on the call today, Dave. I know it was a lot to take in. I took up 30 minutes of everybody's time. Thank you for your valuable Saturday and for your commitment to the